Happy October! It is the spookiest month of the year, which means it is the perfect time to get back to talking about one of my favorite things to make videos about: old cheesy horror games. Today we're going to be discussing what may be the goofiest, weirdest horror game I've ever made a video on: Illbleed. It is a 2001 Dreamcast game that actually one of you guys suggested that I make a video on. And when I looked into this game and realized just how wacky it is, I knew that I had to share it with you all. Like, I am so serious when I say that this game is weird. So buckle up and prepare yourselves. But first, the disclaimer. This video is not meant to be taken as a serious review. I just like to make videos on games that I find silly. This video is going to be a retelling of the story while I attempt to be funny along the way. I do not focus on the gameplay in these videos, but instead the story, as that's what I find interesting. So if you're looking for someone to talk about gameplay, this is not the video for you, because I really don't do that at all. And please do not take this video as me hating on the game. I genuinely love old, cheesy, bad horror games. So even if I poke fun at it, that is not me hating. If anything, it's me expressing my appreciation. Okay, with that out of the way, let me tell you all about the bizarre story of Illbleed. The game starts with our main character, Eriko, giving a speech about how when she was a kid, her father was obsessed with scaring people, so he would always torment her with traps and tricks. What a great father! When she was 5, her mom finally divorced him. I mean, good, I'm glad she did that. But girl, it took you 5 years to leave the guy that was doing this to your daughter? Then she goes to talk to her friends Randy and Kevin. We learn from them that Eriko is the president of the Horror Research Club. You would think after all the trauma, she wouldn't want to run a club about horror research, but okay, maybe this is just how she copes. Then their friend Michelle shows up with 4 tickets to the theme park Illbleed. You can win $100 million if you make it through all of the park's haunted attractions, but this has never happened. The park is extremely difficult to get through. Why is it so difficult to get through, you may ask? Well, that's because Illbleed is less of an amusement park and more of a death trap. Like, this park is just filled with traps and people that will just straight up kill you. They say that more than 100 people die there every day, and yet no one seems to care. Like, seriously, how is this place allowed to stay open? This is just straight up murder, and the police are like, I mean, they say it's a theme park, so it's probably fine. Anyway, all of Eriko's friends are excited to give it a shot and win the prize money. Eriko is the only smart one and says that she's not going to go, and her friends take off. However, a few days later, her friends are missing, and she's forced to head to Illbleed to save them. You know, I'm not really sure what music I was expecting, but it wasn't that. It's just so not scary. So from here on out, Eriko will have to survive each of Illbleed's haunted attractions, each one based on horror movie tropes, filled to the brim with things that will kill you. Again, how is this place allowed to stay open? The first attraction is Home Run of Death. The premise of this haunted house is that a father had a baseball prodigy son who he was very proud of. One day, some kids were messing around with fire and accidentally burnt the father's house down, mutilating him and killing his son. Out of revenge, he killed the kids with a blowtorch and is now a monster, attacking anyone who comes near his home. Honestly, not a bad premise. I might watch that movie. But okay, let's head inside this house of horrors and see just how dangerous Illbleed really is. Okay, it's very dangerous. So the game is full of what are called shock events, which are basically just jump scares that can hurt you. You're given something called the horror monitor, which you can use to search for and successfully avoid shock events. And every time you avoid one, Eriko goes, "Cool." Cool, cool, cool. She even does this after killing enemies. Cool. All those years of torment from her father must have made her very hard to scare. So some of the attractions have what feel like a million shock events in them, this being one of them. As you progress through the house, you find and save Kevin.
Woohoo, yeah! You're our savior. I'll help you any way I can, you hear me?
Okay, so it's not just Eriko. Kevin is also surprisingly chill for what he just went through. When you try to face off with the final boss of the house, you find one of the employees running it, reminding you that these are all animatronics and this is just an insane theme park that the police will do nothing about. Eriko decides to kill the guy and you escape the first attraction. Next up is The Revenge of the Queen Worm. This one is about a town of people who have decided to eat worms instead of meat. You could stop right there and it would be a horror movie to me. Ugh, I hate bugs, they gross me out. Anyway, there's this guy who is the most successful worm farmer. He died, and now his worms are attacking the town. As Eriko makes her way through the worm-infested attraction, she runs into the ghost of the worm farmer. He tells her about his precious daughter, Rachel. He wants her to kill his daughter, so that the two of them may reunite in the afterlife. It turns out that Rachel is actually a giant worm that he used to feed gasoline to, and the more he gave her, the more she would grow. This game just gets weirder by the second. Eriko beats up Rachel, and she's reunited with her father.
Grandpa! Rachel! I've missed you.
Yup, weirder by the second. You also find and save Michelle in this attraction. Yay! Now it's time for wood puppets. This one is all about an evil ancient tree that is angered by lumberjacks that try to cut it down, so it turns them into wood puppets. Once Eriko enters, she runs into Randy pretty quickly. I'm sure he's fine. So it turns out that in the process of being turned into a wood puppet, Randy lost his brain. Okay, maybe he's not fine. In order to return it to him, Eriko has to turn herself into a wooden puppet and fight a bunch of lumberjacks. She saves Randy and heads off to the boss fight.
Sorry, we're having trouble getting the boss character out. Hold on a second, please. Hey, we got another customer waiting here. Hurry up.
Try turning on the switch again. Okay, here goes.
I wish the game would play into this more of it all being a horror attraction, because scenes like this are actually kind of funny and creative. The next attraction is Killer Department Store, which is all about a greedy store owner who kills his customers and steals their money. There's no one left to save at this point, so not much happens on the story front in this one. Just a bunch of shock events and some mini games where you play with a possessed doll. For me though, the highlight of this one is the employee that really sucks at his job, resulting in Eriko being able to make the boss kill itself.
Huh? Work? I'm not working. No way. Hey, so why the call, hon?
Next is Killer Man. He's a serial killer that was never caught. When Eriko arrives, one of the employees is worried because one of the Killer Man costumes is missing. Then she meets a reporter who is investigating the mysterious deaths at Illbleed. It's good to see someone is finally looking into the over 100 deaths a day at this park. All of the employees start getting killed off by the missing Killer Man costume, which is not supposed to happen at this attraction. Eriko and the reporter investigate to find out who was the one killing the employees. Much like Eriko and her friends, the reporter is very unfazed by witnessing death.
This means Cunningham has been... Oh! Ah! Hey, guy, are you okay? Hang on there, buddy. We'll get some help.
Later, he gets kidnapped by a zombie, and that doesn't really faze him either. He's just chilling. In order to save him, you have to run through empty halls for a really, really, really long time. There's no shock events either, just running. You save him, fight Killer Man, and discover the truth. The spirits of all the people that died at Illbleed possessed the Killer Man costume and exacted their revenge on the employees. On one hand, I can understand why these spirits would want revenge. On the other, maybe they shouldn't have gone to a theme park where they are explicitly told that everyone that goes there dies. Now it's time for the final attraction, Toy Hunter. How on earth am I supposed to describe this one? Okay, so you play as a knockoff Woody from Toy Story, whose girlfriend, Sexy Doll, gets sent to Toy Hell. In order to save her, he has to break out of prison, murder a child, and fight evil Sonic the Hedgehog. Then they ride off together on a spaceship that I think is supposed to be a weird version of Buzz Lightyear. My life was so much better before I knew this existed. I will never get that innocence back. So now that you've survived all of the attractions, you can go to the Michael Reynolds Museum. Michael Reynolds is the crazy man that created Illbleed. Once there, he gives Eriko one final challenge. She can pick from one of 3 bosses to beat, and once she wins, he gives her the $100 million. Eriko and all of her friends celebrate on the beach. That is until Eriko is like, I have to go back to Illbleed, bye. The end. So, as you may have guessed, that's not the true ending. In order to get the true ending, you have to play through the game again, and you can't save any of Eriko's friends. As you progress through this second playthrough, Eriko's clothes will become more and more ripped, until the end when she's wearing nothing at all. Why? Why did they need to do this? She arrives at the Michael Reynolds Museum, and he's all like, ooh, you're so hot, and he rushes down to see her. Why? And also, why does he look like that? Eriko is like, aha, I knew it. You're my dad. She arrives at the Michael Reynolds Museum, and he's all like, ooh, you're so hot, and he rushes down to see her. Yeah, so the dad that was obsessed with horror and would torture Eriko as a child is the creator of Illbleed. He says that the reason he created Illbleed is so that he could scare Eriko once again, since he made her lose her sense of fear by messing with her so much when she was a kid. Then he transforms into an ugly monster. But I mean, honestly, he already was one. So he transforms into an even uglier monster, and Eriko kills him. Once he's dead, Eriko says that he succeeded. He scared her. Then the game ends with this scene.
The new president of the Horror Research Club will now be me, Kevin Kurtzman, due to the fact that our old president Eriko is just not the same anymore. Poor Eriko. Once fearless and strong, she turned into a vulnerable little girl. who needs a fearless knight in shining armor to protect her. Like me. Yeah. And the sad part is, I can't go to the horror house with her anymore.
I'd like to remind you that in order to get this ending, you had to let all of Eriko's friends die. How are you here, Kevin? You should be dead. But yeah, that does it for Illbleed. There were some things about this game that I thought were super creative, like all the different themes of the attractions, or the moments where they really play into Illbleed being a theme park, or just the fact that this game is very obviously poking fun at different horror movie tropes. But there are some things that I really wish I didn't experience, like the Worm Daughter, or Toy Hunter, or the true ending. So what are your thoughts on Illbleed? Have you ever even heard of it before today? If there are other games like this you would like me to make a video on, let me know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed the video, like and subscribe to see more content from me. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!